Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Band Together Leadership. My name is Paul Everts. I'm your host. I'd love you to contact me, BAND 2 together, bandtogether.comcast.net, or go to our handsome website, which is conductingmylife.com. Go to the curriculum tab, and you'll see I'm part of the John Maxwell team, and that's what we're working on right now. One of John Maxwell's wonderful books, Breakthrough Parenting. I have about 6 or 7 different topics that I can cover, and we love to come out and serve you. We do private sector, public sector, middle school through retirement age. John Maxwell is a New York Times bestselling author, and he is a wonderful man. Better people make better leaders, and we need to get some better people going real soon. So we are working, as I said earlier, out of the Breakthrough Parenting book. 1996, I want to say, is this book's been published. So it's an old book, but our son was born in 1994. Our daughter was born in 1996. This book has created 2 wonderful adults. One, our son is in the United States Navy. He's a lieutenant. He's married. He has 2 children, with one on the way. And our daughter is getting married October the 7th. And we're excited about welcoming her fiance into our world. This book helped create 2 wonderful adults. So we're going to start with an introduction to the Breakthrough number 3. I got to put my old man glasses on, if you don't mind. This is Breakthrough number 3. Strive to be a priority parent, not a perfect parent. So I think that's one of the things too, is that when people like me are on YouTube or whatever you're watching this on, he thinks he just knows it all. No, I don't. I'm married. My wife tells me I don't know it all, and that's been for 32 years, and she's right. I don't know it all. I've had students tell me I don't know it all. I have students' parents tell me I don't know it all. No, I don't know it all. So I'm not a perfect one. The only perfect one is that dude right there. That's Jesus Christ. He's the only perfect one. So I go on. The potential breakthrough for the parent, a sound strategy for parenting. The potential breakthrough for the child, a deep sense of security. And we're just going to go spend about 10 minutes on this. Dr. Maxwell and his wife felt fortunate one recent holiday season because they had a wonderful family Christmas. His parents came to visit, and that was especially significant because his dad experienced a heart attack not long ago. And for a while, they feared he wouldn't see another Christmas. Dr. Maxwell's sister Trish and her family also celebrated with them because they had moved here or there to San Diego during the summer. The holidays felt like a family reunion. One evening, Mom, Dad, Margaret, that's his wife, Trish, Steve, that's Trish's husband, and Dr. Maxwell went to their den after dinner to enjoy a cup of tea, a log fire, and a beautiful Christmas tree that Margaret puts up each year. As they sat, they talked about Ohio, growing up, and how he wished Larry were there to share some of the memories. It seems that whenever we kids get together, especially if Mom or Dad is with them, they talk about growing up because the memories are so good. On that night, Dr. Maxwell got to thinking about how his parents raised him and the other children. They felt secure because they knew their values. And Dr. Maxwell began thinking that he wanted to explore what they did, so Dr. Maxwell could share it with you in his book. Dad, Dr. Maxwell said, you and Mom were really good parents. You seemed to have such clear priorities for us. I wish we were more like you. Dr. Maxwell's mom replied, it was easier then. Everything was black and white. It was easier to make decisions. Again, Dr. Maxwell's mom, I really feel for parents who are bringing up their children now. It's so much tougher than it was in our day. And again, I'm just going to remind you, I'm going to look back here real fast. The book, I believe, is copyrighted in 1996. There it is, copyright 1996. And they're talking about how difficult it was. And imagine what it's like in 2023. Oh my gosh. Being a teacher, I know. How did you know what was important? Dr. Maxwell asked his mom. Did you list your priorities? That's what Margaret and I did when the kids were little. And then Dr. Maxwell's dad replied, no, son, we didn't list them, but we lived them. That was true. Dr. Maxwell doesn't even remember seeing any gap between what his parents asked for them and what they lived themselves. They were consistent day in and day out, models of good family management. And as NBA head coach, now past head coach, Pat Riley said, he said, Sustain a family for a long period of time, and you can sustain success for a long period of time. First things first, if your life is in order, you can do whatever you want. Okay, and we've heard that before too. Make your own bed. Get your own life taken care of before you want to suggest how others live their life. You're not perfect though. Neither am I. Forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. You know who you are. So when people are sitting there saying you're a jerk, you're an idiot, there's a good chance you're not. That's how they see you. But there's chances though that there might be you were an idiot one time. And then say I'm sorry. And then now who's the idiot for not forgiving you? Okay. So there are no perfect parents. Having such excellent models, Margaret and Dr. Maxwell determined they would do everything right when they became parents. They would make all the proper decisions. They would ensure that their children exhibited all the right behaviors. They were going to be perfect parents. They couldn't have made a worse decision. There are no perfect parents. And by identifying perfection as their goal, they were setting themselves up to fail. There are only three kinds of perfect parents. Those whose children are grown up and gone, and who can't remember what really happened. Those who have not had kids yet, and those who are on television in the 1950s and 60s. So there are no such thing as perfect parents. So forgive yourself. There's no such thing as perfect children. So how could there be perfect parents? Priority, not perfection. Then one day, we, Margaret and Dr. Maxwell, understood that their desire for perfection was hurting their children rather than helping them. It was a Saturday morning. Elizabeth had been playing and being between the two of us. Margaret and Dr. Maxwell had probably corrected her 8 dozen times. But correction number 13 was just too much for her. She burst into tears and ran into her bed sobbing, "I can't do anything right." It sounds like Katie Everett or even PJ Everett, those are their children. Margaret looked at Dr. Maxwell and said, "John, we've got a problem. If we keep this up, Elizabeth is going to lose all her confidence, and she is never going to want to try anything new." That's what struck Dr. Maxwell. They needed to prioritize what was important to them as parents, just as Dr. Maxwell had learned to prioritize in most every other aspect of his life. It's something I had learned that's again Dr. Maxwell, when Dr. Maxwell was taking business courses a few years ago. It was then that he read about Italian economist Vilfredo Pareto. And what's funny, I'm recording this on, what's today? Today, I believe, is the 18th of May in the afternoon. And I have a new teacher that's following me at the current job I'm working at. I'm retired. I went in and filled a position, and now I'm saying goodbye. And we just worked on this right now. This is really kind of freaky. It's kind of godlike, isn't it? Okay. Pareto taught that we should prioritize the factors in our lives and focus 80% of our attention on the top 20% of our priorities. When we do that, we get the important things done, and the unimportant things take care of themselves. When Dr. Maxwell first read that principle, he realized that if he followed it, it would change his life. He immediately began using it in his ministry, in his leadership, in his time management, and so forth and so on. But it had never occurred to Dr. Maxwell to apply it to parenting. So again, that's the Pareto's Pareto principle. We focus 80% of our attention on the top 20% of our priorities. Pretty cool. And that goes for anything. So as I told the teacher that's following me, you have 365 days in a year. So we take the Pareto principle. I'm going to say to you 80-20, and I'm going to turn it into this. I'm going to say 80% of the year is going to be good, if not great. So 20% is going to be bad, if not terrible. So that's really what? 70 to 75 days out of 360 are going to be bad to terrible. Okay, so when you have a bad day, just know it's the Pareto principle. You're going to have bad days. All right, here we go. Last thing for today, because I'm running to the 10-minute mark. So here is the Maxwell list of priorities. Then Margaret and Dr. Maxwell set aside some time to talk about what was going to be most important to them as they parented Elizabeth and Joel Porter. Dr. Maxwell's parents had identified a list of 10 qualities that were important to them. But they felt they would be more successful with a shorter list. After a lot of discussion, Dr. Maxwell and Margaret narrowed their focus down to 5 priorities. A couple of items were on my parents' list. Others were not. In the end, Dr. Maxwell and Margaret decided that they wanted Elizabeth and Joel Porter to do the following. Well, number 1, love and obey God. Number 2, have a good self-image. Number 3, accept responsibility for their choices. Number 4, have a positive mental attitude. And then finally, number 5, have a thankful spirit. So I think that would be great for you. I think that if you came up with a list of your own on what priorities do you think your children are going to need, and then develop each one. So next week, we're going to take a look at the 5. And again, I don't want to discourage you. I want to encourage you. This is Dr. Maxwell's list. You make up your own list, but we're going to look at the list. So we have love and obedience to God. Okay. We have a good self-image. And so we're going to take each one and we're going to take a look at it next week. Thanks a lot for watching. If you want further information, contact me at BAND, the number 2 together, band2together at Comcast.net. I really want to help parents. I don't want to be your children's parents. No teacher should be your children's parents. Just saying that. I'm here to help you. I got 2 of my own. All right, love you very much. God bless. Hope this helps somebody. Bye.